Temperatures are rising, polar caps are melting, sea levels are rising, and weather patterns are changing. Thousands of ecosystems are being destroyed, from coral reefs in the ocean to rainforests in the Amazon to even the homes of humans. Coastal regions are being flooded, houses and buildings destroyed, roads closed, and lives lost. All this is directly caused by one thing: human CO2 emissions. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, we have been exponentially pumping CO2 and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, effectively raising the temperature of the Earth. Yet with all this evidence, many people in the United States still deny climate change. All this climate change denial can be traced back to one source: large corporations that depend on the use of fossil fuels to make money. These corporations pay millions of dollars on a campaign to confuse the public and spread misinformation. They do this through paying scientists to oppose climate change science, attacking legitimate climate scientists, and even distributing false information into school systems. The media unintentionally amplifies the confusion around climate change by the fossil fuel industry. News had to report on both sides of the issue, which made it seem that climate scientists are hopelessly split on the question of anthropogenic global warming.
Climate change is real. I think this is global warming hysteria and alarmism.
So-called global warming, which isn't happening.
Global warming is illusory. We're actually going through a period of global cooling.
Calling carbon dioxide a pollutant? Come on.
Look how much pollution I just put out.
These companies even create coalitions in order to further spread denial of climate change. One group, Global Climate Coalition, consists of oil companies, electric utilities, and automobile manufacturers. They began a multi-million-dollar advertising campaign against the Kyoto Protocol. They falsely advertised that the U.S. shouldn't have to participate in combating climate change unless other countries meaningfully do so too, many which have done a lot to fix the damages already being done. Sweden is phasing out fossil fuels and is already at 51.1% renewable energy, compared to the United States' 9%. Another group, Information Council on the Environment, had a goal to supply alternative facts to support the suggestion that global warming will be good and is just a theory. They also targeted citizens susceptible to this false information, even creating a false movie that claimed increased CO2 leads to a more fertile world since plants require CO2 to live. These large corporations greatly influence the Republican Party because of the large donations they give them. Since they rely on these companies to do well economically, they support them as much as they can, through denying climate change or impeding the progress of renewable energy technologies. Most Republicans are motivated by fear of losing their conservative base in their districts rather than being seen as a believer of climate change. One Republican, Bob Inglis, lost an election because he openly believed in climate change and soon found himself being booed with regularity by conservatives in the district. When asked to sign a document acknowledging the scientific evidence of climate change and the threat it poses to human survival, only 11 of 247 Republicans signed it. How are we ever able to combat climate change when one of the two major political parties in the U.S. vastly denies the science of climate change? These beliefs from large corporations and the Republican Party trickle down to the individual people in the U.S. A major study conducted on Twitter yielded the results of rejection of climate change in the general public too. It's a conspiracy favoring the growth of government. They oppose renewable energy and energy taxation, and they express fear of government abuse of power. They believe global warming fraud stems from a desire to profit from renewable investments. It's a misuse of taxpayers' money and an inappropriate manipulation of the market. Some believe climate change is a hoax and pursuing renewable energy is not possible and will waste money. Others think it's a ruse to make taxpayers pay more money to the government. It sounds crazy to those who know the facts of climate change, but fossil fuel industries are implanting these ideas into people's heads through propaganda and lies. In the recent election, America elected a candidate that believes climate change is a hoax created by China. Donald Trump, the next president of the United States, is a firm disbeliever in climate change.
What did you think of the global warming summit in Paris this week?
I think it's ridiculous. I think that there'll be little change here. It'll go up, it'll get a little cooler, it'll get a little warmer like it always has for millions of years. It'll get cooler, it'll get warmer. It's called weather. I think it's a big scam for a lot of people to make a lot of money.
He will soon be in charge of our country and all of its climate protocol decisions for at least the next 4 years. The government is now controlled by a majority of Republicans, many of which deny climate change. A once bad yet manageable problem has now become even worse and seemingly difficult to solve. Yet despite these many setbacks, America can still reverse and cure climate change denial in the United States. This all starts with education. Through educating the American population, especially the youth, we can best combat this denial. The facts for climate change are out there in research journals, lengthy essays, documentaries, and all sorts of media. However, this information isn't readily available to all Americans. We need to distribute this information to those who have trouble accessing it or to those who have previously avoided the topic. The media, government, and schools needs more focus that surrounds climate change and ways to impede or reverse it. It is important to stop the spread of misinformation by fossil fuel corporations, educate the citizens of the United States of the true dangers of climate change, and begin to combat and fix whatever damage has already been done.